Hello, today we will share with you the hot developments between Palestine and Israel in the world. Let's start with our first news. According to security sources in the Middle East, recent developments are taking place. 2 drone attacks targeted the Ain al-Assad base in Iraq, which is home to American forces, but did not result in any casualties. In another development, the Hamas-affiliated Al-Qassam brigades claimed to have targeted Israeli vehicles in the Al-Tawam area of Gaza using the Al-Yassin 105 anti-tank missile. Such attacks indicate an escalation of tension between the Gaza Strip and Israel, with the conflict continuing. Additionally, the Israeli army announced the killing of Nassim Abu Ajina, the commander of Hamas's Beit Lahia brigade in Gaza, who was also responsible for Hamas's air branch. The Israeli military said he was responsible for attacks on the Erez and Netiv HaSara areas. While the violence and the ongoing conflicts in the Gaza Strip in the Middle East continues to escalate, the Al-Qassam brigades announced that they targeted an Israeli force near the Kerem Shalom crossing point. These recent attacks indicate that missile attacks from Gaza into Israeli territory persist without stopping. On the other hand, the Israeli army reported that they conducted an effective operation in the Gaza Strip in recent days. The Israeli ground forces continued their ground operations against Hamas targets, engaging with terrorist cells equipped with missiles and heavy machine guns. As a result of these operations, it was announced that a significant number of Hamas members were killed. In a statement to Al Jazeera, a Hamas spokesperson provided a detailed assessment of the recent developments in the southern regions of Israel. The spokesperson mentioned that the Israeli military has started moving ground forces on different fronts and disclosed their engagement in a ground operation that they did not want to announce. However, no further details were given regarding the nature and objectives of this operation. Additionally, the Hamas spokesperson expressed that the people in the region are deeply concerned due to the Israeli military's advance into agricultural areas and entry into previously bombarded vulnerable areas. The airstrikes, particularly in the southern part of Nuzirat in central Gaza, were emphasized to have a negative impact on the civilian population. In addition to these developments, attention was drawn to the second drone captured over the Ramon airport in Eilat in southern Israel. The Hamas spokesperson suggested that this incident is likely related to an attempted UAV attack by Iran-backed Yemeni Houthi rebels. Finally, in response to the targeting of their positions, the Israeli military bombed the outskirts of the town of Blida in southern Lebanon. While the violence and the ongoing conflicts in the Middle East continues to escalate, the events in the Gaza Strip are further exacerbating the tension in the region. The Israeli army announced that 3 people were killed in an airstrike on a house west of Rafah. Additionally, this morning, the Israeli army demolished a house near the town of Arura, close to Ramallah, which belonged to Hamas official Salah al-Aruri. It was reported that this demolition was signed by Central Command Chief Major General Yehuda Fox on October 27. The Israeli army also targeted Hezbollah areas in southern Lebanon, indicating the spread of the conflict in the region. In the West Bank and Jerusalem, the Israeli army initiated a campaign of arrests and raids. Such activities signal an increase in tension in the region and heightened security concerns. The southern commander of the Al-Qassam brigade sent a brave message to the fighters before entering the Gaza Strip. He stated, "We will fight in the alleyways, we will fight in the tunnels, we will fight when necessary, and we will defeat this vile enemy represented by the residents of Bari, Sderot, Nir Oz, and Kafr Gaza. The entire Israeli nation stands with us, uniting our strength." In this challenging period, the solidarity and courage of the people in the southern regions of Israel are of great importance. The Al-Qassam brigades entered a building in Beit Hanoun and attacked Israeli forces, targeting a bulldozer and a vehicle. Hamas announced that after clashes near Erez in northern Gaza on October 29, some militants emerged from a tunnel and fired Yassin 105 anti-tank missiles. These developments indicate high tension in the region, and the conflict between the parties continues. A significant attack with heavy weapons on the Dotan military checkpoint near the town of Yabad southwest of Jenin indicates that violence and conflicts in the region are ongoing. The Israeli army continues to conduct intensive raids in areas northwest of Gaza City, which also shows the expansion of the conflict. Reports indicate that the Israeli army is continuing its ground operations near Gaza City, while heavy airstrikes and artillery fire continue in northern Gaza Strip. This reflects the escalation of the conflict between the parties and exacerbates the humanitarian crisis in the region. Additionally, it was reported today that a militant from the Gaza Strip attempted to cross the fences in the Reem area. The Israeli army identified the suspect and initiated arrest procedures but ended up shooting and killing the suspect in the process. Rockets have been launched from the Gaza Strip towards central Israel once again. This indicates that the conflict in the region is ongoing, and missile attacks from Gaza to Israel persist. Additionally, during clashes in the Shwafat refugee camp in Jerusalem, Israeli forces were reported to have used tear gas intensively against the rebels and arrested a young man. Such incidents show that tensions are rising in Jerusalem, and the conflict is spreading to city centers. Intensive artillery and airstrikes continue in the southern Gaza neighborhood of El Zaytun and the Netzarim area. There are also reports of the Israeli army launching attacks in southern Lebanon. In a period of increasing regional tension, the need to reduce tensions between the parties and end the conflict becomes even more critical. A significant incident unfolded today in the southern Israeli city of Eilat. An unmanned aerial vehicle entered Israeli airspace and crashed in Eilat on the shores of the Red Sea, triggering a major alarm. Israeli authorities are continuing their investigation to determine the purpose of the drone's entry into this area. In the shadow of this incident, the Egyptian Red Crescent announced the successful delivery of its 8th aid convoy to Palestinian counterparts through the Rafah border crossing. This aid convoy continues to serve as a beacon of hope for the people living in the region. A recent airstrike in Tel El Hawa, west of Gaza City, has raised significant concerns. The target of the strike was likely agricultural land associated with underground infrastructure. Civil society organizations and local authorities express their concerns that such attacks have a negative impact on the civilian population in the region. The municipality of Nahariya reported that the explosions heard in the city were a result of the Israeli military's operations in Lebanon. The rising tension in the region is causing anxiety among the people in surrounding areas, and efforts to find a resolution continue. The Gaza Ministry of Interior spokesperson, in a statement to Al Jazeera, explained the recent developments as follows: Israeli forces have entered the Gaza Strip from the northwest and are advancing their vehicles towards the Karama area. Simultaneously, it was reported that rocket sirens started sounding near Mechela on the Lebanese border. Hamas reported that the Israeli military is attempting to reach areas such as Salah al-Din Street and al-Rashid Street. These developments are not limited to the Gaza Strip alone. Near Beersheba, rocket sirens were heard, followed by 4 major explosions. The increasing tension in the region indicates that the conflict is having broader effects in a wider geographical area. Meanwhile, the Russian foreign minister held discussions with his Saudi counterpart to address the conflict in the Middle East. These international diplomatic efforts are of significant importance as they continue to work towards reducing tension in the region and finding a solution.